Welcome again, viewers. This is Wadidja. What did you say? What did you do? What did you think? And bringing another commentary video on ability cards in reference to the gift of focus. I covered, you know, a good bit of what I'll probably cover here in, the previous episodes in regard to the ability cards, episode 1 and 2. I just wanted to sort of consolidate the point about the gift of focus because it's a very powerful card, and I don't want the information to get lost amongst the shuffle of things in relationship to the understanding of all the ability cards and how they can interplay, and you know so again, a little disclaimer about the ability cards. In my opinion, is needed. None of the ability cards are necessary, and understand that utilizing the ability cards at a very minimum will at least give you some awesome role playing aspects as far as characterization, what have you. I covered a lot of that in the previous videos as well. um, but at the same time, if you have an opportunity to still stand after an engagement or during an engagement, these cards can be exceptionally beneficial to you, especially in PvE type encounters. PvP, whether it be free roam or the various different event series, they can benefit you as well. Understand that, with this particular video here, what I'm focusing on is the gift of focus, and the fact that as the card reads here, items and abilities which restore Deadeye have their effects significantly improved. That's at level 3. You deal a little less damage. Now, that may deter various different individuals. I mean, the whole Deadeye aspect of things in the gameplay kind of interferes with certain folks' machismo, and they're wanting to relive Red Dead 1 things, or they just feel like it's unrealistic in some capacity or not fair. Either way, you can utilize passives, whether or not you have the actual Deadeye going on or not. Some need to have the Deadeye active, others do not. This here does not have to have the Deadeye active, but having it active, of course, is going to make it worthwhile to use. And keep in mind, this is items and abilities. So therefore, when you are if you look at the lower left hand screen at my cores above the way map there in the lower left hand screen, if they do not have gold cores around them, if they, in other words, if you have not utilized a tonic or any type of item which creates a gold core around your situation, as you can see here, and I don't happen to have one at the moment for my Deadeye that does not create a negative effect, but I can take this and, for example, let me just show you this too, because this is a very key point to make sure that if you gold cores help reinforce everything that you're doing. It's the heart of any aspect of your gameplay involving your health, stamina, and Deadeye. But you can take gold core foods, which will counteract any negative effect that you would initially experience towards your core. Now, you will, over time, and with enough ingestion of, say, alcohol, for example, experience the disorienting effects of it, but your core will not be affected. But it's only in this state, as you can see in the lower left-hand corner, my gold core around my Deadeye, that this ability here, the gift of focus, is going to primarily be utilized. Now, it does interact with other abilities which restore Deadeye. So when you think about an ability, to me, you would almost want to think you had, it may coincide with your innate ability to increase your Deadeye when you kill an enemy, or especially a little bit more so when you shoot them in the head. But the thing is, I have not noticed that this here gives you a little bit more in regard to the Deadeye that you might restore with a kill without an ability card. I believe this is specifically for tonics, items or foods, foodstuffs, and abilities which restore Deadeye. So therefore, this ability here, an eye for an eye, headshots restore a lot of Deadeye, is what you'd want to use if you wanted to synergize an ability with this card. And of course, it can be a little bit dismaying in the fact that it says that you deal a little less damage. Well, a little less damage I haven't really noticed to be a problem at all, simply because more than likely I'm hitting the enemies with, any enemy, AI or another player, with a potent shot of some sort. Now I don't typically run around in the PvP, game modes, which the event series type stuff, but at the same time, I have participated in the horse races and what have you. Nonetheless, you know, with a lot of the game modes, you still can take a tonic, which will help, extend your Deadeye period of time if you're using it, and with whatever your loadout is. And you can also too use tonics more often than not in these game modes. Now the thing is that if you get killed after ingesting something that's going to give you a gold core around whatever, you will still maintain your white bar when you respawn. So therefore, it's not a complete waste. But in relationship to the gift of focus, you're not going to it's only going to affect your white bar aspect when you're in Deadeye, as far as how potent, how significant it's going to work for you. So it worked during that time in which the gold bar was active. But again, you can, while your Deadeye is active, ingest another thing to reinforce your gold situation and keep that going. So yeah, tonics of course work far more efficiently than say tobacco chewing gum. But if the aspect is to give you a little bit more time before it hits your white bar, that's the object of the point, and to give you a little bit reinforcement for however long it works. But with the gift of focus, it doesn't immediately disappear, although, like, as you can see, it will rapidly disappear, because the tobacco chewing gum is like less effective than a level 1 tonic as far as giving you a gold bar is concerned. But the unblinking eye here, that works for your white bar, and that's around your core. So when I activate my eagle eye, or when I take aim and activate my Deadeye, my white bar drains far slower. My abilities can last far longer. I look at this white bar as a safety net to your core, because once your core begins to deplete, then your bar efficiency, whether it be white or gold, becomes impacted, or will not withstand as much, I guess, impact or detriment to it, such as damage or time, for example, it being expelled, or exertion of yourself, depending on what you're trying to affect. But the gift of focus to me is one of your strongest aspects that you can add to any build that you're using. And of course, with it being a recovery ability, depending on what your loadout is, you might regard it simply as a hybrid tonic build, or if you're going with a completely healer loadout, you could look at it as a healer tonic build. I tend to look at the build that I have going on as a hybrid, tank tonic build, some combination of those words. But it's completely up to you, as far as your gaming style and tactics, as to how you might want to recombinate these things. Like I said, I just want to kind of focus on the gift of focus, and the way you can manipulate that with the other cards, and understand its limitations. A little less damage might mean an extra shot, or when I'm shooting people with explosive rounds, and incendiary ammunition or express ammunition, I haven't noticed the point of a little less damage. And and unless of course you're utilizing something like a varmint rifle, and you want to go that route, of course you can go ahead and offset that little less damage if you feel as though it's an issue, um, with a number of cards. Peak condition, winning streak is a strong one. Of course, you don't want to miss in your shots, but in my opinion, if you're good with your free aim, you're good with your aim assist aspects, you can stick with slow and steady. In my opinion, painted black is almost more effective. I can understand that whenever you use your Deadeye, that little less damage starts to be even less, because your Deadeye gives you more accuracy far more quickly than just free aiming, or utilizing the aim assist mechanics. And to me, that seems to produce a little bit more damage, being more precise and being more accurate. Um, but again, I haven't noticed the issue with the little less damage from the gift of focus at the moment. I feel like this is a predecessor in the way that we can, you know, uh, mix it with, say, peak condition, not peak condition, excuse me, eye for an eye, and headshots are restored even more so when you use the gift of focus. Um, I feel like there'll probably be other cards out in the future sometime which might make this even more worthwhile in regard to the abilities. Now, it could be a bug too, which I'm in which case I'm not noticing the added increase to a headshot when I'm not, with the innate abilities of your character. Because innately, all your characters heal on their own. They restore Deadeye when they kill an enemy, especially with headshots, etc., etc. Your stamina will recover. If as long as your core is healthy and full. So I don't know. Perhaps I'm not noticing the Deadeye aspect that this might help, but I do know that it like I said, plays in well with eye for an eye, and headshots restore a lot of damage. And of course, items, as far as tonics that I take, everything in regard to that, as far as Deadeye is concerned, um, are significantly improved. Uh, so you can go ahead and mix that with any type of a DPS build. You can mix that with any type of a healer build, or any type of a tank build, as I have done. But yeah, I don't know what else to sort of say in regard to this. Let me just take a look around, make sure this is a little off the cuff and unscripted. Um, let's see here. But yeah, you just have to respect your limitations with the gift of focus in regard to more so, than a little bit of damage. You just need to respect the fact that this is going to be a tonic specific type of a situation. Let me try to order something through the catalog here, or tonic or something. Um, and when it comes to replenishing things which affect uh, you know uh, your Deadeye, you can craft various different tonics. You can craft all the tonics actually. Once you buy the pamphlets from the fence, you can craft level 1s, level 2s, and level 3s. And even a tonic like this that affects all of your types of cores will um, uh, relate to your Deadeye, of course. It looks like I got a trade award I can reset. All right, we'll take that. Thank you. Should be another point. 2 gold bars. Yeah, 2/10 of a gold bar. So when you, I need to go over to the little collection box here and get what I just purchased. So yeah, you can, on the way to there, I'll show you this here, craft of course, all of your various different tonics. I think I covered some of this last time. Um, So yeah, if you have the pamphlets for it, you can craft your tonics. You can see that your various different ingredients, and that's where the expense comes into play, either in time gathering these resources and the time to go ahead and create them, or the time and making the money to go ahead and buy them. Um, so it's expensive, and of course that expense carries over to when it comes to making your explosive type ammunitions and what have you, in an ammunition as well as materials, dynamite arrows and everything. So to kind of run at a peak efficiency and peak damage, which however your abilities are set up, it's expensive. And at the moment there's really no value outside of pride and bloodlust to really engage in open world combat, in the free roam, so to speak. Um, let's see here. But yeah, it's not to say that those engagements won't happen, because they will and do. Let's see. But yeah, to me, to me, it's no need to start none. It's such a waste of time mostly. But when you're in various different other game modes or what have you, again, you can take your tonic. If you die, your white bar will still be there with the gift of focus. In that level 2, you can see the time frame in which the gold is still there for a good moment, and then the white begins to dissipate. So, it's dependent on the potency of your tonic, depending on how many tonics you have. Because again, like I said, I could keep my dead eye going and just go, okay, I want to go ahead and reforce my gold bar. Bam, it's there. The gift of focus is now kicked in. Um, and I can keep rinsing, repeating that as long as I have materials to go ahead and supply it. But that is quite an expensive undertaking to do. But you have the greatest chance of surviving most encounters and most situations, of course, unless they're going to blow you up. And, they're just going to come with it and kill you, which is probably most advisable, if that's your bag. And of course, most advisable if you're trying to defend yourself, and not just find a wiser way out of the situation, like respawning somewhere else, if you're not willing to play in those types of reindeer games. So um, but yeah, so that's my recommendation on that, and good luck with it all, and thank you for viewing. And um, you know again, none of these things are necessary, but they are fun to use in regard to role playing at a very least. And I hope all this helps. All right, take care and enjoy.